I was gonna dump a bucket of ice cold water on my wife. We wash cars with this bucket. So y'all know this bad boy gotta be some type of deep. My wife ain't ready at all. And it's kind of cool here, so I gotta kind of move fast. I ain't trying to kill her. But this water is extra cold, I promise you. Extra cold. I put my hand in and almost froze my fingers. Chill out. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh my God, boy, you stink. Don't lie. 3.
Move, camera.
3. Sit, buddy, touch your head. I'm gonna get your hair. 3. Touch your head. 2. The other way. No, girl, you trying to drown. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I would have got her. I would have got her, but I ain't trying to kill my wife, man. I just got married.
I ain't trying to kill my wife, man. I just got married. I ain't going to kill her. Jessic Lacy said those words while dumping ice water on his new bride. It was a joke, a TikTok challenge, something to laugh about. 11 months later, Shannon Michelle Lacy was found on her living room floor. Multiple gunshot wounds to the head. The man who promised not to kill her? He called 911. Both deaths ruled homicides, both named as the killer of the other. How does that even happen? Welcome to True Crime Anatomy. To all our amazing subscribers, thank you so much for being here. I pray you and your families stay safe. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this video. Here, we tell the parts of the story the media never talks about. Let's get into it. Shannon Michelle grew up in Lawton, Oklahoma, but Fort Worth, Texas became her home. She wasn't just surviving, she was building something. 2 jobs. Executive Administrator at Securitas Sverige, Registered Dental Assistant at South Texas Dental. Different worlds, same hustle. She'd finish one shift and head straight to the other. And through it all, 3 children depending on her. Being a single mother meant every decision carried weight. Who watches the kids while you work? How do you pay for school supplies and still make rent? How do you find time to date when you're already running on empty? Shannon tried, but dating as a single mom isn't easy. Some men see children as baggage. Others make promises they don't keep. She'd been through enough to know the difference between someone who stays and someone who's just passing through. On November 21st, Shannon posted something that showed just how long she'd been waiting. She wrote, "He's about to be my husband on Friday. I have patiently waited on this day for many, many years." That word, patiently. It says everything, doesn't it? This wasn't a whirlwind romance. This was a woman who'd been hoping, praying, believing that one day someone would choose her. Not just her, but her children too. Someone who wouldn't run when things got hard. The wedding happened.
Invested in me by the state of Texas, and now pronounce you husband and wife, and you can kiss your baby.
And the next morning, Shannon posted again. "I feel wonderful, waking up next to my husband. I am so blessed and beyond happy." You can feel the relief in those words. The joy, the exhale of someone who finally got what they'd been waiting for. Her 3 children now had a father figure, a complete family under one roof.
Daddy, big girl Michaela. Say hey, Michaela. No, wave at the camera, girl. And my big boy Cam. Say hey, Cam. Oh yeah, you don't ever say. Oh, okay, thank you, thank you. Me. Hey, big girl. Hey, big girl. Say hey, big girl.
Everything she'd worked for, everything she'd hoped for, it was finally happening, or so it seemed. Jessic Lacy Jr. was 30 years old when he married Shannon, 9 years younger than his bride. He wasn't just some guy. Jessic was a singer, a songwriter. He performed as part of a duo called R2J in the Fort Worth music scene. He had dreams, big ones, the kind of dreams that require belief, hustle, and a lot of patience from the people around you.
Hurry up and send another picture, can you speed it up, yeah. And let me grab my tablet, cause you know this phone ain't big enough, yeah. I'm trying to figure out.
On stage, Jessic knew how to work a crowd. Charismatic, smooth, the kind of guy who could make you feel like the only person in the room. And he brought that same energy to social media. His posts about Shannon, they read like love letters. "I wouldn't have ever known that the day I met you that I would fall so heavy for you." I always thought that love was just a fairy tale for two, but I found it in you. Another one. If I could marry you over and over again, I would for eternity and more. Beautiful words, but if you read them closely, there's a pattern. His posts aren't really about Shannon, they're about what Shannon does for him. My wife loves me, she loves me, got me the Xbox Series X in these games. She knows how to make me feel good. I want to take this time to really appreciate my wife. She is an amazing woman of God. It's always her giving, her loving, her doing, and him appreciating it. Jessic went from single man to husband and instant stepfather overnight. 3 children who weren't biologically his, all looking to him for guidance, stability, love. That's a lot to take on, especially for someone still chasing a music career. Was he ready? That's the question, isn't it? But there's one thing Shannon and Jessic did together that seemed to bring them closer. The gun range. They'd go together, film themselves shooting, and post the videos online. Both of them were skilled, accurate, confident. They'd caption the videos with things like, "We miss no target."
No games out here. Mr. and Mrs. Lacy, we out here killing stuff. Plays no games. We miss no target.
It was their thing, their bond. A hobby that made them feel powerful, connected, untouchable. But here's what nobody talks about. When 2 people in a relationship both own guns, both know how to use them, and both have access to them at all times, what happens when trust breaks down? Because in 11 months, those guns wouldn't be pointed at paper targets anymore. Let's talk about what we can see. Because on social media, Shannon and Jessic's marriage looked flawless. Month after month, the posts kept coming. Anniversary celebrations, cooking videos, basketball games on weekends, Father's Day breakfasts where Jessic posed with Shannon's 3 children like they'd always been his. But when you go back and read these posts carefully, something starts to stand out. Take the Xbox gift. December 2021. Jessic posts a photo of the brand new Xbox Series X with multiple games. His caption, "When I say my wife loves me, she loves me. Got me the Xbox Series X and these games, she knows how to make me feel good." On the surface, it's gratitude, a man appreciating his wife's generosity. But why does he need to prove it? Why the all caps? Why the triple exclamation marks? It reads less like gratitude and more like validation, like he's showing the world, or maybe reminding himself, that his wife adores him. And then there are the gun range posts. They'd film themselves at the shooting range, hitting target after target. The caption, "We miss no target." At the time, it seemed like a cute couple's activity, bonding over a shared hobby. But watch those videos again, knowing how this ends. Watch the way they handle those weapons, the comfort, the precision, the confidence. They weren't just good shots. They were proud of it. But let's look at what we do know, the financial picture. Shannon worked 2 jobs, 2 demanding careers, one in healthcare, one in corporate security. She was the breadwinner, the stable one, the one making sure the bills got paid and the kids had what they needed. Jessic, he was still chasing the music dream, performing with R2J around Fort Worth, hoping for a breakthrough that hadn't come yet. There's nothing wrong with supporting your partner's dreams. But when one person is grinding 60-hour weeks and the other is waiting for their big break, resentment has a way of creeping in. And then there's the blended family situation. 3 children who already had a father now living with a stepfather 9 years younger than their mother. Kids adjusting, Jessic adjusting, discipline issues, loyalty issues, territory issues. Nobody posts about that part on social media. Spring 2022, something shifted. If you track their social media activity month by month, you notice the posts start changing, not disappearing, changing. They actually become more intense, more declarative, like they're trying harder to prove everything's okay. June 1st was a Wednesday, a regular work day for Shannon, a regular day for Jessic. By all accounts, nothing seemed out of the ordinary to the outside world. Shannon's children, where were they that evening? With their biological father? At a relative's house? That detail matters, because whatever happened at 7 p.m., those kids weren't there to witness it, and that might be the only mercy in this entire story. Wednesday, June 1st. The day started like any other. Shannon's 3 children weren't at the house on Wheatland Drive that evening. They were elsewhere, safe, unaware of what was about to happen to their mother and stepfather. We don't know the exact timeline of the afternoon. Who was home first? Did Shannon return from one of her jobs to find Jessic already there? Did he arrive later? Were they together all day? What we do know is this. At approximately 7 p.m., Something happened that couldn't be taken back. The first gunshot. But whose finger pulled that trigger first? That's the question everything hinges on. The medical examiner's report tells us Shannon suffered multiple gunshot wounds to the head. Not one, multiple. That's not random. That's not accidental. When someone is shot multiple times in the head, it's deliberate. It's close range. It's personal. Jessic had one gunshot wound, a single bullet to the torso, his chest. So which came first? Did Shannon shoot Jessic in the chest and then he retaliated by shooting her in the head multiple times? Or did Jessic shoot Shannon first and then stage his own wound to make it look like self-defense? Ballistics can tell us about trajectories, angles, distances, but they can't always tell us intent. At some point during or after the shooting, Jessic made a 911 call. His exact words to the dispatcher, "We shot at each other." Not "she shot me," not "I shot her." We shot at each other. Listen to the way he phrases it. It's mutual. It's shared responsibility. It puts them on equal footing, two people in a fight where both pulled triggers. But was that the truth, or was it the story he needed police to believe? Fort Worth police received the 911 call around 7 p.m. and responded immediately to the Wheatland Drive address. What they walked into wasn't a domestic dispute, it wasn't a standoff. It was a crime scene. Shannon Michelle Lacy, 39 years old, was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers couldn't do anything for her. The wounds to her head were catastrophic. She was gone before the ambulance even got the call. Jessic was on the ground, bleeding from his torso, but he was alive, conscious, talking. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital. Emergency surgery. Doctors worked to save his life. The bullet had caused serious damage, but it wasn't immediately fatal. He had a chance. Back at the house, crime scene investigators started their work, and right away, things didn't line up. 2 guns, 2 victims, but the wounds didn't match the narrative of a mutual shootout. Shannon's injuries, multiple shots to the head, suggested someone standing over her, someone with control, someone who wasn't defending themselves, but finishing what they started. Jessic's single gunshot wound to the torso? It could have been defensive, it could have been retaliatory, but it could also have been self-inflicted. A desperate attempt to make himself look like a victim instead of a perpetrator. Jessic survived the initial surgery. Against the odds, he made it through. He was alive, hospitalized, and according to medical staff, conscious at various points over those 10 days. Did Jessic explain what happened in that house on Wheatland Drive? Fort Worth police never released any statement from Jessic beyond the 911 call. If he talked, they kept it internal. If he stayed silent, they never said that either. And here's the critical question. Who shot first? If Shannon shot Jessic in the torso first, his actions could potentially be argued as self-defense, even if the response was excessive. But if Jessic shot Shannon first, then his wound becomes suspicious. Self-inflicted, staged. Gunshot residue tests would have been conducted on both of them. When you fire a gun, microscopic particles settle on your hands, your clothes, your skin. The tests can confirm who pulled a trigger. But in a scenario where both people fired weapons, those tests only tell you that both were shooters, not who started it. June 11, 2022. 10 days after Shannon died on her living room floor, Jessic died too. Complications from the gunshot wound to his torso. His body couldn't recover. Infection, organ failure, blood loss. The exact medical cause wasn't made public. What matters is this: he was gone. And with his death, the investigation hit a wall. Both suspects were now dead. There would be no arrest, no trial, no sworn testimony, no cross-examination. The case was effectively frozen. The Tarrant County Medical Examiner ruled both deaths as homicides. Shannon was murdered, Jessic was murdered. But under Texas law, that designation doesn't require a living perpetrator. It just means the deaths were caused by another person's actions. In this case, they caused each other's. Fort Worth police closed the case, no press conference, no detailed public report, no explanation of what they believed happened. Just silence. The truth died with him. Privately, detectives likely reached a conclusion. They looked at the evidence, the wounds, the scene, the 911 call, and they made a determination about what probably happened. But probably isn't enough for a criminal case. And when there's nobody left to charge, probably stays in the file. Financial records. Shannon worked 2 jobs. Jessic was pursuing music. Were they struggling? Were there fights about money, unpaid bills, credit card debt, resentment over who contributed what? Money problems destroy marriages faster than almost anything else. And when one person is the breadwinner while the other chases a dream, that imbalance can turn toxic. Then there are the families. Shannon's relatives, Jessic's relatives. What do they believe? Shannon's family likely sees her as the victim, a hardworking mother who was murdered by the man she trusted, a woman who gave everything to make the marriage work and paid for it with her life. Jessic's family? They probably tell a different story. Maybe they say Shannon shot first. Maybe they insist Jessic was defending himself. Maybe they point to evidence we don't have access to and say the public got it wrong. We don't have their statements. Nobody from either family spoke publicly. But you can imagine the divide. Two families, both grieving, both convinced the other side is lying. The theory that circulated online goes like this. Jessic shot Shannon multiple times in the head, then turned the gun on himself. But instead of shooting himself in the head, which is what most people do in murder-suicides, he shot himself in the torso. Why? Because he wanted to survive. He wanted to make it look like mutual combat, self-defense, a fight where both parties were equally responsible. It's plausible. The 911 call supports it. We shot at each other, not she attacked me, not I had no choice, just a vague, equal blame statement. But there's a counter theory. What if Shannon, overwhelmed by something we don't know about, abuse, threats, fear, grabbed a gun and shot Jessic in the chest? What if she was the one who pulled the trigger first, and Jessic, wounded and enraged, retaliated with lethal force? In that scenario, Shannon isn't a helpless victim. She's someone who tried to defend herself or take control of a dangerous situation, and it backfired catastrophically. That theory is harder to accept. It's messier. It doesn't fit the narrative of innocent victim and guilty perpetrator, but it's possible. So they closed the case and moved on. But the questions remain, and they always will. Shannon's 3 children lost both their mother and stepfather in one night. Orphaned isn't quite the right word. Their biological father was still alive. But their mother, the woman who worked 2 jobs to provide for them, who sacrificed sleep and stability to give them a better life, was gone. And the man who'd stepped into the role of father figure for the past year, also gone. Families had to make a decision about funerals. And in the end, Shannon and Jessic were buried separately. Different services, different locations, different narratives. Shannon's family mourned her as a victim, a mother taken too soon, a woman who deserved better. Jessic's family mourned him as their son, their brother, their loved one. Whatever he did or didn't do, he was still theirs. The divide between the families is permanent. No resolution, no shared grief, just 2 sides of a story that will never align. And then there's the legal aftermath. No criminal trial means no justice in the traditional sense. But that doesn't mean there weren't legal battles. Estate issues, life insurance policies that might not pay out if the death is ruled a homicide committed by the beneficiary, custody arrangements for Shannon's children, property disputes over who gets the house on Wheatland Drive, the cars, the assets, all of it messy, all of it painful, all of it unresolved in the way people needed it to be. Let's talk about what this case represents. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, firearms are involved in more than half of intimate partner homicides in the United States. When there's a gun in a home where domestic violence occurs, the risk of homicide increases by 500%. Shannon and Jessic didn't just own guns, they were skilled with them, comfortable, confident. And when whatever conflict existed between them reached a breaking point, those guns were within reach. Then there's the social media illusion. For a year, the world saw a perfect marriage, love posts, gift exchanges, family moments. But behind the screen, something was happening that nobody saw. Or if they saw it, they didn't speak up. That's the danger of performing relationships online. The pressure to maintain the image, the inability to ask for help because you've told everyone everything is wonderful, the isolation that comes from pretending. Warning signs exist, they always do. But we miss them, or we explain them away. Love bombing, excessive affection and attention early in a relationship, can feel romantic, but sometimes it's control disguised as devotion. A partner who constantly posts about how much their spouse does for them might not be expressing gratitude. They might be reinforcing expectations. Shared hobbies can bring couples together, but when that hobby involves weapons, and when the relationship becomes strained, those hobbies can turn fatal. There's also the age gap. 9 years. Shannon was 39, Jessic was 30. Does that matter? Not in every relationship. But in some cases, age differences create power imbalances. Experience versus youth, stability versus ambition, responsibility versus freedom. I want to ask you, what do you believe happened in that house? Do you think Jessic shot Shannon first, then himself, trying to stage it as mutual combat? Or do you think Shannon shot him first and he retaliated? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but do it respectfully. 2 people are dead, 3 children lost their mother, 2 families are grieving. This isn't entertainment, it's tragedy. Thank you for watching. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7. Love shouldn't hurt, and it definitely shouldn't kill. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share. Tomorrow, we're covering another case that the media got wrong. You won't want to miss it. Until then, stay safe, and remember, what you see online is never the whole story.